Hey, double hey, San Francisco Bay, Monterey. My name's Alexandru.
And I'm Dr. Shasta.
And we're back with another episode of
Your Healthy Living.
Hey, we've been practicing that. Can you tell?
Yes. We have our wonderful guest today, who is a good friend of mine.
And this is going to be fun because and you didn't even know this. We were talking about this before the show, that I was a musician.
I didn't know that.
You had no idea.
No,
My dad's
I know
an
your
orchestra
daughter
conductor.
is, but
My dad's an orchestra conductor.
I would have never known that you were a drummer. That's
Really?
amazing. I mean,
Is that just
you have
because I don't
these
have all my
guitars.
fingers?
You have all these guitars all over.
Yeah, well, when I don't have all your fingers, you're not a very good guitar player, but you can still swing sticks.
That makes
so that's
sense.
how that works.
That makes
But,
sense.
You like my new glasses?
Nice.
You like those, huh?
I do like them.
I tell
They're
you
good.
what, I am never ever again getting those progressive lenses. I feel like I'm on an elevator the whole time. It's like, whoa, hey. And then I look down at my feet, and I look like I have a size 12 foot again. You know, it's crazy.
Can you see a lot better now?
No, I don't like them.
Oh.
Actually, I got some sunglasses, and I like the sunglasses. I drove down to L.A., and the problem is when you have the progressive lenses and you look at the dashboard, it's all blurry. So I wondered how I got home in about 2 hours from Los Angeles. I just couldn't see the speedometer the whole way here. It's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
But you know what? We got somebody in the studio here that's working on developing a career like Joyce has had
Yeah.
for
Since she was
4 or
11.
5,
Since I
6.
was maybe even 7. Who
Really?
knows?
Now, from here in the Bay Area, though, right?
Actually, I was 7 in New Jersey. So
Oh, really?
I did start my career in New Jersey.
No kidding.
And then I moved up to California.
Well, we were talking about it because I was in the restaurant and entertainment business back in the 80s, and kind of talking before the show about all the different clubs that you used to play at, and talking about the old Keystone Palo Alto for those of you local folks who remember the
Right,
Keystone.
because but you were 20 years younger than me when you were playing.
I'm not that old. Yeah, I was 2. No, really, I was 2 in 1982, I swear. But no, and that's kind of what's cool is you can kind of, being from the Bay Area, which is a big place. I mean, think about how many millions of people we have, whether it's, the Keystone or the Stone.
Right.
Remember the Stone up in, was that Burbank or Oakland or somewhere
I can't
up
remember,
there?
but I remember hearing about that too.
And then, of course, we got the one over the hill there where you're from, the
Santa
Catalyst.
Catalyst.
Yeah, and that's probably how you know Joel too, right?
I
from
know
the
Joel from San Jose because he was an agent, and
Oh, that's right.
And I was in a band, and I don't remember how we connected.
That was just a shout out to you, Joel Nelson. Hey, you know what? You owe us some dollars for that one. Just kidding.
So I've been following Joyce around for a few years.
Yeah.
I've seen her at the Dianza Hotel, up
Right.
at Tessarosa Winery,
That's right.
at the Pink
The Pink House.
the Pink House,
Cafe Pink
Cafe
House.
Pink
Where's
House
that?
in
That's in
Saratoga.
Saratoga.
Oh.
And I know she's played up in San Carlos,
Oh yes, I played at Savannah Jazz.
Savannah Jazz.
I think that's in not San Carlos, but Redwood City. I think.
Redwood City, okay. and
Redwood
then
City's a cool town. for
also,
entertainment.
she does big band.
Oh, there you
yeah.
go.
Jazz singing
My
also.
dad would love that. Man.
Yeah, I
My
sing
dad
in
would
2
love
big bands. Two with my brother. My brother is a great singer also,
that. Oh, how neat.
and actually I'm going to try to get him on the show.
Oh,
'cause,
great.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
He's called the Bulb Guy in San Jose.
The bulb
the
guy.
bulb?
Yeah,
Okay.
he every year plants like
Oh.
thousands
Oh.
and thousands of bulbs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that. I'm going, That's a great intro, though. I like that. The bulb guy. Huh?
Good to know.
Not
Tell
the-
me more. Tell me more.
Not the bald guy.
No,
Bulb
that's
guy.
me. Or I'm on my way. I'm almost back, though. We're going to be right back after this break talking a little more with Joyce about music and all the fun stuff in life, right?
Yes.
Okay, so stay tuned.
I'm McKenna Ray sharing with you healthy tips, today coming from Olympic gold medalist. Gymnast Nastia Lukin shares that she says balance is extremely important in incorporating into your daily routine. So having that balance between your exercise and your well-being, things that make you happy and that you have fun with, as well as sleep and rest. These things, if you incorporate them together, will really help you to avoid the stress factors, because the more stressed you are, the more unhealthy decisions you end up making, whether that's in your food or in your choice of activities and just overall feeling and not having that happiness factor. So be sure to find balance in everything that you do. Incorporate these things into your daily routine or into your week and watch your life become more healthy and happy.
Hey, double hey, San Francisco Bay, Monterey. My name's Alex Andrew.
And I'm Dr. Shasta.
And we're back with Your Healthy Living, talking about fun stuff in my alley.
Yes.
Music.
Which is very important for our spirit, our bodies, and our souls.
And health.
Yep.
We've had some music people on before talking about actually using it for therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Dancing for health and the incredible benefits. So somebody has to be making the music.
That's right.
And that's Joyce McCulloch Quartet, along with other people that she does sing with. But her band is amazing. Joyce McCulloch's first singing engagement was on KNTV's Record Hop when she was only 11 years old. Mm-hmm. Since then, she has continued to reinvent herself to now become the singer she has always wanted to be, one with amazing tone, warmth, and the love of jazz. Recently, Joyce has written and performed several sold-out shows dedicated to some of her favorite singers, which I've been to a few of. Yes. Carmen McRae, Irene Krall, Anita O'Day, and Sarah Vaughan. Her singing career is on the rise, and she is someone to look out for. And I've personally been to a number of her shows, and they do get packed. And the integrity and the way that she follows the tune as well as explains the history of the music, I've never seen anybody do that before. The way she brings the richness of the music to life, back to life in a new now is remarkable. Everybody should listen to her and follow her. That's why we have her here.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting being this genre that, and apparently you cover a lot of genres as far as the music goes, but, in general, it's one of those almost, I hate to say lost arts, but you don't hear a lot of it. Of course, me being a baby boomer, the end of the baby boomers here, a lot of us have heard of it, but to actually go out and hear something as far as some of the I won't say older music, but the music that really made the music business boom.
What it is today, really.
Yeah.
And how did you get involved in that? I mean, I know you started young, and you were on the KNTV thing, when you were 11 years old. But I mean, what was it that really spurred you on? Was it your parents? Was it just picking up a flute on the ground or something, or what happened?
That's really interesting. My brother and I are both into music, and really none of our family that we know of ever went into professional music.
Huh.
But we had a couple of cousins that were in music, but my aunt on my dad's side was a great singer, but she was very shy, and she never wanted to really move ahead with that. But my brother and I always just loved singing when we were little, and like I said, when we were I was 11, we had moved from New Jersey to Santa Clara, and my brother and I met these two another brother and sister down the block, and they loved singing, so we used to get together with them and sing. And this is how we ended up on KNTV. Their father was knew somewhat at KNTV and loved our group and talked to someone on the radio station. I think it was Frank Darien, because he was the host. I don't know if you remember Frank Darien, but he was the big guy. He was like the Dick Clark of San Jose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we ended up singing on KNTV, which was hilarious to me because when I think back, we all sang unison, not even harmony.
Oh, right. Well, you were 11.
I mean, what do you expect? I remember we sang like a Dick and Dee Dee song. I mean, if you even remember who Dick and Dee Dee was. But anyway, he was very impressed. And unfortunately, they didn't videotape back then. And I really wish that, they had. So.
Yeah.
How fun.
And it's neat that you and your brother still sing together.
Yes, we didn't, we sang together a lot through high school. That's to continue the story. We ended up being in a folk rock original group in high school. Wow. And my brother and one of his friends wrote the songs, and we sang at high school, and we sang like at the county fair.
Wait, so you did originals?
Wow.
Back in twice I did originals. Once when I was in high school. My brother and his friend actually wrote all the originals, and we.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think about it, and that's kind of where the whole rock music thing started from in the the 60s, and people going, hey, you know what, we're just going to write our own music, and we're going to because before it was songs that were solid and written, whether it was Valens or Sinatra or something along those lines.
Right,
and
they sang songs that other people wrote.
Or covers, I guess, is what they call them today. And you just don't see that quite as much anymore, unless a band gets a record contract and they're out there, writing their own music. Everybody typically does the covers.
Well, that's where it's at. And we were just little kids, and maybe our songs weren't very, interesting, or maybe they weren't very complicated, but they were, still an expression of what
Right.
was going on. So, yeah, and so bulk of our music was originals. I mean, I didn't per se write any of them, but
Was he your older brother?
he's my younger brother.
Oh, wow.
Of course, he always goes around saying that I look younger because I dye my hair.
Oh.
Ah, well, there you go.
If you ever go see us sing together, he will definitely say that.
Well, the songs I wrote about caramel corn and stuff in the 60s never took off. I'm not sure why. I just love popcorn and,
Yeah, but you're right about the 60s. I feel fortunate that I grew up in the 60s because it
Right.
was such a creative time of life then,
And look at all the artists that came out of that.
Yeah,
And a
yeah.
lot of folk. I mean, there was a
Yeah,
lot
folk
of
was
folk.
a big
I
thing
love
back
folk.
then.
For those of you who don't know, folk is kind of like rock, but kind of not. And it's really cool.
It's folky.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's fun. And in general, it's a happy type of music.
Right. I mean, I guess you could say Puff the Magic Dragon was pretty happy.
I
right?
guess. I'm not exactly sure where Puff the Magic Dragon came from, being from the 60s and being in the Haight-Ashbury.
Yeah, we don't
Puff.
really know what that really meant.
Yes.
No, we
Well, I
don't.
think we all do. But I'm just saying, only because I grew up almost there. But no, it's true, and what I like that I was just kind of hearing from your intro is that if you want to hear good, solid professional music the way it used to be, prior to the folk music is what it sounds like, right? Because you're talking jazz. Man, jazz. Talk about
Right.
an art form. Talk about
I love
people
jazz.
that can think and have that feeling.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, well, I studied jazz a little bit, and jazz is really a combination of classical and like slave music. Actually, that's kind of how jazz came about. And I had, my parents listened to all the the Sinatra, the Dino, the Rat Pack, all
Right.
the Ella when I was younger, but I really didn't have any interest in singing jazz back then. I was the typical teenager who wanted
Right.
to sing what was on the radio.
Exactly.
But my brother, who was, as we got older, loved that kind of music and always wanted to sing it. But he never really pursued it until years later when I finally got into a big band.
Wow.
So, as we
So
go,
he kind of encouraged that to do jazz.
No, he really didn't. He just liked it.
Uh-huh.
So
how did you finally move into the jazz genre?
Well, for one thing, my brother never really became a professional musician, and I did. I earned after a while, I met my husband. He was actually in my group in high school, and we got married later, and we got into a band together, and we actually made our living on music for many years and raised our children on it. We were doing top 40. We did duos, all kinds of stuff, just to make it living.
Right.
And so later, but I have to say that my husband was probably the biggest influence to me on jazz because he played jazz guitar when I first met him. He didn't play it too much in our band unless we were doing like the wedding backroom music for the eating part of the wedding. But he really was into jazz and turned me on to a lot of jazz guitarists, which I'm still a big fan of today. But I still, and I liked listening to jazz singers, but I really wasn't. I think it was so beyond what I thought I could do that I just...
It takes a talent.
Yeah.
It really
It is.
does.
Jazz
It's
is-
very sophisticated.
Yeah.
I was in the jazz band in high school.
Right.
Oh, you
Shasta
were?
played
Playing the piano.
I didn't know you were a piano
I was
player.
Yeah,
I was
thought-
horrible, but I was there every morning at 7 a.m. loving jazz.
I'm sure you were not as
I
terrible.
wasn't very good at it.
I was in the jazz band, too.
Were you
Wow.
I
really?
played trombone.
Oh, wow.
Well,
You.
my dad's an orchestra conductor, so I
you're
had
a lover of
all the
jazz
brass
also.
instruments.
Wow, we're all finding
My
all
problem
kinds-
was I was so short in high school I couldn't quite get to seventh position. So I always I'm sorry. I always ended up like throwing the slide off of the thing, if I had to hit a seventh
But
position.
you
that's
tried.
fun. That's
Good
funny.
for you.
Yeah, nothing like a slide going out into the audience or anything, but no, I think jazz is really cool. I mean, I always kind of like that scat, skeep tap tee
Yes,
bap beep
yes.
bap.
Well, that's interesting. You bring up scat. So, I mean, as I continued my career in the 80s, my husband we started writing original tunes, and that was, I have to say, the most greatest time of my life. I love when we had some success. We got on an album called the KSJO Best of the Bay. I don't know if you remember KSJO.
Oh, yeah. I remember them back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what? This is really fun. We're going to be right back in just after this commercial break and talk some more about, how it affected you and physically and mentally.
How it affects people physically and mentally.
Right.
We'll
We
right
should
back.
talk about that.
I'm McKenna Ray, sharing health tips with you. Today, coming from Olympic gold medalists, soccer player Abby Wambach shares that it is important to not fear carbs, and that carbs are actually the fuel to our body, just like gas is to a car. So don't be afraid of them. Carbs are helpful if you're eating the proper carbs and if you're balancing them right with your lifestyle. Low-calorie diets aren't as healthy and don't quite do the trick, whereas if you have the correct complex carbohydrates to fit your body type, to fit your fitness level, if you can balance that, that will actually fuel you and give you more energy through the day and help you be healthier. Implement these things into your daily routine or your week and watch life get better and healthier.
Hey, everybody, we're back with Your Healthy Living. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Dr. Shasta.
And we're having some fun talking music, right up our alley,
Yep.
having fun, good energy, good health, as we talked about. And, that was one of the things, being that you're on Your Healthy Living show with Dr. Shasta, how do you feel that this is, it's been pretty much your whole life, but do you find any kind of, mental health benefits or physical health benefits just from the music? What's your experience in it?
Oh, definitely. I think just generally music does shoot endorphins into you when you listen to it, when you practice.
When you get chills when you hear somebody sing.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Absolutely. I have, I'm sure like a lot of us, I actually have cried listening to not necessarily even a vocal, but just an instrumental piece.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It does affect me that
moving.
way. It's very moving. And as far as how it affects me physically when I'm singing, it's I can't explain it exactly, but when I go and do a show or I just go to a gig, it's like I forget about everything. It's just like you leave your problems behind. No, people say that all the time, but I absolutely love singing. I used to play an instrument too, so I love everything about music, but it just sort of I get up on that stand and it's just like a real high for me.
Uh-huh.
And I think music really, I was just reading something today about how people who practice instruments or sing or whatever actually builds their gray matter in their brain because it has so much positive effects, not just, physically, but mentally. And so as far as mentally, I think mentally, there are times where people are depressed or they're just going through a lot of problems. And I have to say, music has gotten me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it really has.
And it gets I brought my son to listen to Joyce. He really, really likes her music. He was over there tapping away a few times.
Yeah, really. I was surprised that
it moves us.
Yes, it does.
And raises our vibration.
And it's true. There's studies have shown, and you look at it, music is a language. Music is math. Music is art.
Yep.
So you were talking about, raising basically the awareness in your mind, for lack of a better term. You're using both sides of your brain at the same time.
Right.
And that's one thing I always loved, and my father always loved about it too, was being able to say it's the universal language. The notes on the page, you can play in any language.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you're Chinese, Japanese, Russian, and it's the same thing. So you can. It's a real joining type of a camaraderie. Is that a word?
Camaraderie.
I'm in a camaraderie thing. I like camaraderie. I like the ones that less than C. It has a camaraderie sense about it.
Boy.
It unifies
I'm making it
people.
up. Wikipedia put it in there.
It unifies people.
It really does.
Absolutely
Yeah.
does.
Yes.
Absolutely
Yes.
does. You're right.
Yeah.
You don't have to. If someone's playing a piece, and even a Japanese group is playing an instrumental piece, you don't care if they're Japanese.
Yeah, you don't. Doesn't matter who's playing.
It doesn't matter. Even.
Yeah.
There are certain cultural styles that you can find in different types of music, but if you can play music, you can play just about anything. And some people are better. Blues is blues. I like blues. Problem I have with it sometimes is, to me, sometimes a little depressing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's great about music. There's something for everybody.
Yeah, at
And
different
Right.
times.
There's, right,
At
and
different times.
and I'm not sure what kind of music you went through when you were younger, as opposed to as you get older. But I mean, what I like about what I did in music is I kept trying to advance into different genres of
Right.
music. Because to me, music, the creativity of music, is what spurs me on. I mean,
Right.
that's what keeps me interested. And you were asking me about jazz, and I think that's why I sort of moved on to jazz, because although I loved singing rock and I liked writing and I liked all the other kind of singing I did, what got me into jazz was the fact that, as I listened to it more and more, I realized that you can make anything up when you're a jazz
Right.
singer or a jazz instrumentalist.
Right.
I mean, it's all up to you. You
Yeah.
can change the
It's
phrasing.
really artsy.
You can
Yeah,
improvise.
you can improvise. You change the melody. You can scat. You don't necessarily have to scat. I know a lot of people think that you have to scat to be a jazz singer. That's not, in my opinion, not necessarily true.
I have to scat because I can't remember the lyrics.
Well,
That's
then-
why I do it.
That's why Louis Armstrong invented scatting,
They
because I
invented it.
think that's
Is
what
he the
happened.
one who invented it?
He was
Oh,
sort of
thank you, Louis.
he's
Thank
the
you.
forefather, from what I understand, of scatting.
I do that on the show all the time. Skibidi bop boo bop ding dang
Hey,
boom
that's,
bow.
that's really good.
Couldn't remember what I was going to say, but we'll be right back.
Where is your music career today, Joyce? And what would you like to see yourself doing in the future? And what do you want people to know how to reach out to you for to that you can offer them?
Well, this is really a funny question. I have said this to several people. I wish I was like 30 years younger right now, because
Don't we all?
I just really started singing jazz about maybe 8 years ago, seriously. And, I have made a lot of headway in, getting someplace around this area.
Yeah.
I put together a group, and we're gigging a lot. And we've, like Jessa said, we've done a couple of sold out shows.
Yeah.
And my goal is, I just want to keep moving forward. I mean, there's lots of clubs you want to play, but you have to be at a certain caliber of music. And being the age I am, sometimes I'm like, wow, that's going to take a long time for me to sing at Lincoln Center in New York or whatever.
No,
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding as an
Keep that
example.
positive
don't know.
mindset.
But
Joyce.
yet, then I have seen, even in San Jose, I've seen some singers that are almost 80 years old, or instrumentalists.
I have at Cafe Stritch.
At Cafe Stritch,
Right?
that are just they're famous singers. One of them is called Mary Stallings, and she was a really famous singer back in the day and sang with some famous big bands. And she's San Francisco based, and I saw her. I think she's like 79 when I saw her, 78, 79.
Yeah.
And I was
B.B.
floored.
King sang up into his 90s, right?
And that's the thing.
That's the thing about
Musicians
jazz.
live a long time. I think there's a sanity
Absolutely.
involved with that health aspect. So learn music, man. That's it. You want to live a long life? Learn how to play, learn how to enjoy, learn how to express yourself in every language possible.
Yeah, and also I think you're inspiring when when you're out there singing these very hard songs to memorize. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
That's funny, because
They're
I mean,
really
I look at some people thinking, well, how in the world do you do that? And then people come up to me and say, how do you remember
Exactly.
like 80
How
songs
you
or
do it.
whatever? And I don't really think of that as much of a challenge.
Yeah.
But what I do think is a challenge is, being creative in jazz singing. For me, it was a very hard thing to kind of push through. And for years, I just couldn't get it.
And,
So I just
and
thought,
people really are enjoying it. They're enjoying you a
yeah,
lot.
I think they are.
Yeah.
We seem to have a lot of people come out and listen to us.
Well, how can people do you play at parties for people? Do you play at weddings?
Do you have albums people
like,
can download? Or
how-
songs?
Well, that's
How
interesting.
can people reach you, and what could they hire you and your band for?
Well, when I formed this group, one of the and I don't want anybody to take this in the wrong way, but I decided I didn't really want to play dance music any longer, because I played dance music forever and
Right.
ever when I was a singer in a top 40 band. But so I just wanted to do the music I do. So we,
That you really
most
love.
most of the things we do are clubs or shows, like for instance at Cafe Pink House. If anybody wants to reach me, they could go on my website, which is girlsingerjoyce.com. which actually Girl Singer is actually named after Rosemary Clooney. That's what they called her.
Oh.
In the 40s,
so
she was a big band. They called her the Girl Singer.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to put a little clip of some of your singing on here, too.
I didn't know what time it was. Then I met you. Oh, what a lovely time it was. So sublime it was too. I didn't know what day it was.
And I'm playing a gig next week at a place called SP2 Communal Bar and Restaurant, which is downtown San Jose. It's kind of a hip little restaurant and bars.
And I've seen you in the place, La Viva? What's the place in Los Gatos?
Viva?
Viva.
Viva?
Yeah, we
I've
haven't
seen
played
you
there.
there.
Yeah,
We love Viva. They get some good
nice.
jazz bands in there.
Yeah,
too,
they
so
do.
We'd
They
love
do.
to see you in there. I mean, it's right down
well,
the street
hopefully
from our
I'll
house.
hopefully I'll get another gig there sometime in the future.
So what's your website again, just so everybody knows?
girlsingerjoyce.com. And if you want to email me, I'm girlsingerjoyce@yahoo.com.
Do you have a phone number, or do you prefer just the email?
I kind of stick with
Right.
the
For the
email
emailing?
system.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's.
And can they get clips on your site and all that? Just kind of get an idea.
My band just recorded a demo on Saturday, and I'm finishing up the vocals this week.
Wonderful.
So hopefully that'll be on our my website in the
How
near
fun.
future. Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. You know what? I love
this
music.
is a real honor to have Joyce.
You know,
on our
you love
show.
music. We all love music.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of we have a thread going on.
And we
a common
do.
thread.
We love jazz.
Well, it is the KIYS Kindness in Your Soul Network.
We should have done something together for
Yes,
the show.
next time I'll bring my drumsticks and I'll play them on the table. This has been fun. Well, thanks again for joining us on Your Healthy
Great
Living.
having you.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's awesome.
guys. It was
don't,
great.
Don't forget to tune in to the KIYSradio.com site and check out our Facebook, check out our YouTube channel, check out everything on there. And if you got some material you might want to share with us, let us know. Talk to McKenna, talk to myself, talk to Dr. Shasta, and we'll get some information out here on the air for people to enjoy. Right?
Great.
Thanks again for joining us,
Loved
folks.
it.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. Take care.
Grand to be alive, to be young, to be mad, to be yours alone. Grand to see your face, hear your voice, feel your touch. I'm